So his walk-on song is always of his choosing, but today he has actually not just walked on, he walked in the building, in the studio. Doc, how are you doing today, sir?
Dear brother, all of us highly troubled, unsettled, unnerved, unhoused, but still fortified, brother. And we listened to a genius, Luther Vandross. In his late 20s, he wrote this song, One Should Know How. You never, ever forget how to love. It's a sure enough thing. It's been tested and found true. And you and I, brother, we come from a black folk who've been hated so intensely for 400 years and still teach the world so much about love. And yet at the same time, the paradox of love is that frustrated and neglected love is one of the most powerful forces in the world. And my hunch is that's what the Reiner family is wrestling with right now, man. A frustrated and neglected love, because they did have a deep Reiner love. Ain't no doubt about that. But it can ricochet, it can backfire on you. It's not received in the right way, and when drugs and other things get in the way, and it makes it even more tragic. Now, Brother Nichols, of course, we love that brother. We both respect him and love him. It is Shakespearean. It's blues-like in terms of what happens when the love is so deep that it takes a form of such ugliness, of a homicide, of a slitting of throats of a mother and a father. It's something that's hard to imagine, but it's real as a heart attack right now in terms of the precious Reiner family. My beloved wife, you know so well, Anahita, we both love her so. We saw this movie last night, When Dead Man Awake, by old brother Johnson. And I thought to myself, I said, part of the spiritual crisis of the American empire, and it's tied to its militarism, it's tied to its racism, it's tied to its predatory capitalism, its greed, its hatred. But one of the worst things that could ever happen to a society when you no longer have sources that cultivate the capacity to love, so that everything is market, everything's transaction, everything is about the next political election, everything is about the career. You saw that in Gangster Trump. You see, his response is always driven, unfortunately, tragically, by just the next moment of revenge, the next moment of retribution. He was quite explicit about it, the Charlie Kirk funeral, remember? He said, I hate, I love to hate. That's who I am. Now, of course, he can still go another way. He doesn't have to accept that, but unfortunately he does. So his gangsterism is consistent in that way. And you get that kind of ugly language. He acknowledges just how talented Brother Rob was. And you're absolutely right. People are going to acknowledge it. You got a whole lot of MAGA people, a lot of right-wing folk who love the brother's films. Actually loved his acting, too. I mean, I grew up, of course, all in the family. Ain't no doubt about that. And, of course, Dick Van Dyke, too, with his father, Carl, and your magnificent interviews with both father, son, and grandson. You got all three of them, though, brother.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone now. My staff has gone into my photo archive, and I am grateful for all the years of doing what God has blessed me to do, and to have interviewed so many people. But I'm looking at a photo right now of Rob and his son Nick, and yours truly on set in conversation. So we're going to dig into the vault tonight and try to find the actual audio. If I can turn it around fast enough for tomorrow, we'll give you some of that. But when we come forward, in case you missed the first hour, I want to just sort of reset this second hour. I'm going to do it in 3 or 4 ways, and then let Doc run free the rest of the hour. One, when we come forward, I'm going to play for you some audio that I played in the first hour today of one of my conversations with Rob Reiner, where he talks about the preciousness of life, the finite nature of life, how he's cherishing life more as he gets older, and how that sentiment was affecting his choices as a film director. We'll play that clip for you, number one. We will also play, because Doc has made reference to all these things in his opening remarks here, not play for you, I will read for you what Donald Trump said on Truth Social about Rob Reiner. Ugly though it may be, I want you to hear it in case you didn't hear it in the first hour. And then, as also Doc said a moment ago, there are Republicans now, there are MAGA people coming out against the president for his nasty comments about Rob Reiner on Truth Social. So I'll play or read some of that for you as well. But I'm just got chill bumps looking at this photo here. We'll get it posted when I can today. But a photo of Nick, who is now in custody for slitting the throats of his parents, Rob and Michelle Ryder, in conversation with me, I think, back in 2016. So I had almost forgotten that I met their son and interviewed their son, and now he's in custody for the murder of his parents. It's Cornel West for the hour on Tavis, Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, who is in studio today here on the West Coast. I'm glad about that. We will stay with him for the hour, and then our third hour today, we will celebrate the Mothership Connection. That album was the fourth album by Parliament, but highly regarded as perhaps their best ever. It dropped 50 years ago today, so we're going to change gears dramatically after 2 hours of this sad story about Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle being murdered in their Brentwood home yesterday. We're going to change gears in our third hour and just have some joyful conversation about the music. And as you know, Dr. West is always talking about how the music is what sustains us, does it not, Doc, in times like these?
Isn't that the truth, though, brother? That faith, that music, that love, that Lord, and the memories of the loved ones who you never forget.
Yeah. So in case you've just tuned in, Miles, I'm going to play that clip in a second here of Rob Reiner. You ready to go with that? Let me just set this up first. In case you've just tuned in and have not been tapped in, we are talking in this hour, as we did in the first hour, about the news of Rob Reiner, the iconic and versatile film director, being murdered along with his wife Michelle Reiner in their Brentwood home yesterday here in Southern California. TMZ's reporting from law enforcement and family sources that their throats were slit by the murderer and their son. They have 4 children. Their son, Nick, now 32, is in custody as we speak for the murder, arrested, I believe, in this case for the murder of his parents, but he is being questioned by police here in Southern California as we speak. TMZ also reporting that the Reiners were at a Christmas party on Saturday night hosted by Conan O'Brien. You all know Conan. Conan had a Christmas party. Apparently at that party, Rob and his son Nick got into a big argument, a rather loud argument, loud enough for others at the party to hear and to take note. TMZ reports that the Reiners left that Christmas party. Whether Nick was with them, we do not know. But they left the party after this argument, and some hours later on the next day, Sunday, they were found dead by one of their daughters inside their home. And so, again, I repeat that their son Nick is now in custody, being questioned about the murder of his parents. Rob Reiner came to see me a number of times over the course of his career and my career on radio and television to talk about various aspects of his work over the years. Had the honor many times of sitting with Rob and his father Carl, the iconic Carl Reiner. I was just watching the other night in one of those Oceans movies. You all saw the Oceans movies. Carl Reiner's in the cast of that. Just an amazing guy. Both of them were, Rob and his father Carl. But this is a conversation I had with Rob back in 2010. And Rob is talking about the preciousness of life, the finite nature of life, and how he was cherishing it more as he got older, and how that reality was impacting his film choices. Take a listen.
How much of the success of the stuff that you do has to do with the fact that it does, in fact, play well in the Heartland?
It does. I mean, Bucket List, which I did a couple of years ago, was a big success in the Heartland. I mean, as I've gotten older, I made Bucket List when I had just turned 60. You start feeling the preciousness of life. You realize it's finite, and you start, just cherishing it more. And so I want to make movies that embrace the life experience, that celebrate the life experience, and are uplifting. So Bucket List, even though it's about two older guys that are facing cancer, it's also very uplifting because they're embracing life even to the end. Same thing with Flipped and the couple of pictures that I'm working on now. I just like to celebrate that life experience, and we see less and less of it, unfortunately.
Well, as we get older, we all, as my friend says, as we start doing that dance with mortality, we focus more on our bucket list. So how's Rob Reiner doing on his bucket list?
Well, okay. It's interesting. When I made the movie, they went to Africa, and they went to the Serengeti and all that, which I always wanted to do. I never did it.
Yeah.
So I got to go this summer. I went to Africa, and we went to the Serengeti and the Masai Mara, and we went to the Uganda, and we hiked in the mountains to see the gorillas, and it was pretty exciting. I mean, so I get to check that off my list.
That's Rob Reiner in conversation with me back in 2010. And again, I'm so grateful, especially now that they're deceased, for the many conversations that I had with Rob Reiner and his father Carl on all of my platforms over the course of my career. I've been blessed in beyond measure to have talked to so many people. And there's some sound again of Rob just talking about as the Bible intones, life is but a vapor. Life is but a vapor, and you never know when your time is coming. But quoting my friend Cornel West, we all eventually have to do that dance with mortality. Dr. West suggested earlier, and I opined as well, as did John Nichols in our first hour, that there are a whole lot of folk in Donald Trump's MAGA base, a lot of Republicans who might not have liked Rob Reiner's politics. Rob was a progressive, might not have liked his politics, but they love his films. You heard John Nichols in the first hour say, quoting Ted Cruz, that there was a big fundraiser that Rob Reiner was a part of. He was reading the script from The Princess Bride at a fundraiser for Democrats in Wisconsin. Ted Cruz, senator, of course, out of Texas, said, I don't like him reading the script as a fundraising tool, but I can't hate on the film. So even Republicans love the work that Rob Reiner has done, and why would they not? Dr. West mentioned earlier All in the Family, where he plays Meathead on the Archie Bunker show, Spinal Tap, and Stand By Me, and Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally. You heard Rob talking about a bucket list in that clip, A Few Good Men, just on and on and on the list goes of all the great work that Rob Reiner did as an actor, producer, and director. But Republicans are, in fact, Dr. West, now starting to have their say, pushing back on Donald Trump. Let me read from Representative Thomas Massey, Republican of Kentucky. I quote, regardless of how you felt about Rob Reiner, this is inappropriate. Talking now about Donald Trump. Well, let me just pause for a second. I'm doing this out of order. Before I tell you what Republicans are saying about what Donald Trump had to say, let me read for you what Donald Trump did in fact say. Let me do this in the right order. Here's what Donald Trump posted earlier today on Truth Social. In case you didn't hear it in hour one, I want you to hear it now. Quoting Donald J. Trump on his Truth Social platform. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession with President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. And so there is no evidence at all that the stabbing deaths of Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were in any way connected to his Democratic politics. But Trump has once again seized on their deaths to attack the Hollywood couple in death, suggesting that their criticism of him may have led to their killings. Even though we know that their son wrestled with drug addiction and mental illness for years, but Trump blames it on TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. And to that, Thomas Massie, Republican of Kentucky, has had this to say publicly, quote, regardless of how you felt about Rob Reiner, this is inappropriate and disrespectful discourse about a man who was just brutally murdered. I guess my elected GOP colleagues, the VP and the White House staff, will just ignore it because they're afraid. I challenge anyone to defend it. That's the Republican Thomas Massie out of Kentucky. Here is the aforementioned Marjorie Taylor Greene. Quote, Rob Reiner and his wife were tragically killed at the hands of their own son, who reportedly had drug addiction and other issues, and their remaining children are left in serious mourning and heartbreak. This is a family tragedy, not about politics or political enemies. Many families deal with a family member with drug addiction and mental health issues. It's incredibly difficult and should be met with empathy, especially when it ends in murder. Close quote. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene. So you heard John Nichols, Doc, and I discussing Marjorie Taylor Greene in the first hour, and we don't know whether or not she has sure enough found Jesus yet, but she's making a whole lot of sense of late.
No, it's true. It's true, though, brother. But I must say, though, you think to yourself, what's the real scope of one's love and empathy? We have to be consistent in our solidarity with people who are trying to be forces for good, and at the same time, we have to shed our own tears for murder in any form. So it's this murder that's taking place with the Reiners. I mean, Trump, of course, he's, the bona fide gangster. We don't want to be too preoccupied with him, but he's going to try to politicize it in that way because he's running empty when it comes to the tank of empathy. He needs to read a little Middlemarch by George Eliot, the great novel of empathy. But, of course, the murders of the precious students at Brown University. The murder of the precious Jewish brothers and sisters there in Australia. The murders still taking place. We don't even count them anymore in black communities, be it by police or black folk killing each other. The murders still taking place in Gaza during the so-called ceasefire. The murders still taking place in Sudan. It raises a deeper question of misanthropy. How do we hold off at bay the sheer contempt for humanity? It seems that we are, as a species, we just have such deep proclivities toward hatred and greed and self-flagellation and self-violation and self-destruction. And the question becomes, how do you create moments of interruption? And this is something that the Black Freedom Movement has had to come to terms with for 400 years. This ain't nothing new for black folk coming to terms with the overwhelming murder. How do we muster the courage to create interruption? And the capacity of love exercised is a major form: personal, interpersonal, friendships, romance, then family, community, but then, of course, through social movements, through struggles for justice that are tied to a love of black people, a love of oppressed people, a love for any people who have been degraded. And once any civilization or empire begins to run out of its spiritual tank when it comes to the capacity to love, then it's basically over, man. It's just a slippery slide down to chaos, to disorder, to anarchy, in the worst sense. And at the moment, that seems to be the dominant tendencies of the country, and we just have to be honest about it, unflinchingly, and trying to speak the truth in the face of it, and then organize. I think Brother John Nichols' point about Jesse Jackson Sr., solidarity. This is the crucial thing right now. We have to have solidarity across the board against any forms of murder, be it any forms of oppression, any forms of hatred, any forms of organized greed.
A lot was going through my mind while you were talking just then. Follow me for a second. I think I can make sense of this. As my preacher says, stay with me. I'm going somewhere with this.
You on your way to Zion, brother. You on your way to Zion.
I'm going somewhere with this.
All right.
While you were talking, I thought about the song that you and that genius Bootsy Collins did years ago.
Nobody like Bootsy.
Yeah. The song was When Love is a Threat.
Yes.
Remember that song y'all did?
Lord, yes.
When Love is a Threat.
Indeed.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I thought about that because here you are talking about how we have to muster the courage to engage in love as interruption. I've never thought about love in that way, love as interruption, to use your phrase. What does it mean, though, that we've arrived at a place in our society where the violence, the lack of empathy is so prevalent, continues in a way that is so unabated, that love has to be an interruption? That makes sense?
Oh, it does. But I mean, the reality is, my dear brother, is that has been the predicament and plight of black people for 400 years. For 244 years of white supremacist barbaric slavery, love was an interruption because the routine was black body is abomination, black hope's a joke, black freedom is a pipe dream, black history is a curse, and black love was a crime. You are criminalized if you love a people who have been criminalized, you see. So that now we're getting a broader experience of this in the larger society. And I hope and pray that they learn something from the best of we blues people. How do you sustain the capacity to love the way Luther Vandross was singing about it with such soulfulness? Soul ain't nothing but the sharing of a soothing sweetness against the backdrop of a catastrophe. But when the catastrophe is normalized, when the catastrophe is routinized, then the only thing that can interrupt it is a love or a justice or trust or fidelity or a joke or an ecstasy or a pleasure or a joy. Those things become the fundamental sources of interruption. And there is a Christian framework to this too, really, because it's true that the cross is an interruption, and that ain't nothing but divine love.
Now you can
hold up. The blood at the bottom of that cross.
Hold up.
Mark Riley Thomas knows what I'm talking about.
He said two things. Now we got to unpack when we come forward. I'm glad I got it for the hour, because we're at the 30-minute mark where he would normally be done right about now, and he's just getting started. So I'm going to interrogate this when we come forward. Somebody said, if the cross ain't in it, cross it out. If the cross ain't in it, cross it out. So we're going to talk about the cross as interruption when we come forward. And we'll talk about what it means when catastrophe becomes normalized. Those are the 2 points Dr. West just made. That the cross is a point of interruption, love interrupting. And what happens when catastrophe becomes normalized? You're listening, and I'm glad about it, to Cornel West on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom. I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The NYPD is stepping up security at Jewish houses of worship and Hanukkah celebrations around New York City following the deadly mass shooting in Australia at a Hanukkah celebration Sunday. Meanwhile, Jewish community members gathered in Manhattan's Upper East Side Sunday night for a vigil.
The way that we respond to this adversity is by being prouder, more confident, more joyous.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass wants to stay in office. Over the weekend, Bass announced she plans to run for re-election in 2026. She'll face at least 3 opponents in the June election. And cities, counties, and public agencies in Texas are enacting policies to enforce the state's new bathroom bill. Senate Bill 8 requires people to only use the public restrooms and locker rooms meant for their biological sex. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a strong day yesterday for both of LA's NFL teams. We start with the Chargers. They rolled into Kansas City and eliminated the Chiefs from the playoffs with a 16-13 win. The Chargers are 10-4. Kansas City had won the AFC West title 9 straight years and had been in the playoffs every year since 2014. The Chiefs also lost quarterback Patrick Mahomes for the rest of the season. The 3-time Super Bowl champion suffered a torn ACL in his left knee late in the fourth quarter. The Rams clinched a playoff spot with their 41-34 win over Detroit at SoFi. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford threw for 368 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Rams are 11-3 and remain tied with Seattle for the best record in the NFC. LeBron hit 2 free throws with 3 seconds left to give the Lakers a 116-114 win at Phoenix. Luka Doncic had a game-high 29 points. The Lakers are 18-7. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Celebrate the season at the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. Enjoy Ride and Dine at Pines Cafe December 25th and January 1st. Or savor a special holiday menu at Peaks Restaurant Christmas Day. For reservations, visit pstramway.com. The Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. Savor the season at 8,500 feet.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Malik Books on celebrating 35 years in business.
It's a celebration.
Malik Books proudly houses one of the largest African American and diverse children's books in the nation. This is the perfect time to pick up holiday reads, meaningful gifts, and to support literacy in our community. For 35 years, Malik Books has stood strong in the Black Book Revolution, uplifting stories that heal, inspire, and transform. One reader at a time. Change your thoughts, change your life. Books are the gift that keeps giving. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, congratulations to Malik Books on 35 years of culture, pride, and community.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
If we ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now. Oh, we sure do need him now. Oh, Lord, we sure do need him now. If we If we ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now. We need him every day and every hour. If we've ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now. Oh, we sure do need him now. Oh, Lord, we sure do need him now. If we ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now. We need him every day and every hour.
The smooth sounds of Take Six. If we ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now. You heard Dr. West mention a moment ago that the cross is a love interruption itself. And I said, if the cross ain't in it, cross it out. And somebody texted me and said, I think I need the cross to get across. So everybody leaning in on this notion of the cross as interruption in a moment like this. It's not just, let it ride, Miles, it's not just the murders of Rob and Michelle Reiner in their home by allegedly their 32-year-old son. It's the murders at Brown University over the same weekend. It's the murders in Sydney, Australia over the weekend. And now comes breaking news in this hour that the Department of Justice has arrested 4 people for allegedly planning to place bombs in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. Let me just read. The Justice Department arrested 4 people in connection with an alleged plot to set off bombs here in Los Angeles on New Year's Eve. Members of the so-called Turtle Island Liberation Front, described as a far-left group, had planned to conduct a series of bombings against multiple targets in California beginning on New Year's Eve. We're told that the targets of these bombings are corporate sites. So even if you can get with their sentiment about corporate greed in this country, this is not the way to respond. But 4 have been arrested for planning to place bombs around the greater Los Angeles area on New Year's Eve. This, Dr. West, what you were talking about just moments ago, about what happens when catastrophe gets normalized. Take it away, sir. Take it away.
That's the truth, though, brother. Because, I mean, the sad reality is that hatred and violence have a logic and life of their own. Once they are genies out of the bottle, it's very difficult to get them back. We know that from the history of the species, the history of wars, the history of imperial plunder, the history of white supremacy and predatory capitalism. Once they are unleashed, how do you gain some kind of restraint and regulation of them? And so it's just incumbent upon all of us trying to be the forces for good that we can be in the short time that we're here, to be true to ourselves, maintain our own integrity, honesty, and decency, to lift our voices, to be part of solidarity movements that are critical of various forms of organized greed and weaponized hatred and routinized indifference. Yeah. Absolutely.
We acknowledge what he acknowledged. As I mentioned earlier in today's program, I interviewed Rob Reiner and his son Nick, the alleged assailant in this crime, his horrendous and heinous crime. I interviewed them on my show back in 2016. But to Doc's point, when you have this kind of these kinds of catastrophes that are being normalized, we understand the context. It doesn't make it any easier to process. But Nick had mental issues. Nick had drug addiction issues, and we put that in its proper context for what it's worth. But more broadly, again, what happened at Brown, what happened in Sydney, these arrests of these 4 persons for planning to place bombs here in the L.A. area on New Year's Eve, just a few days from now, is shocking and arresting to all of us. Who knows where you planned to be on New Year's Eve here in Southern California, but bombs apparently were planning to be placed to hit these corporate locales, part of their politics pushing back again on this sort of corporate greed. And I want to go there, Doc, because you raised that point a moment ago, that if in fact we find out that Nick was the person who killed his parents, he was no more justified in doing that than were the persons who killed those students in Brown. No more justified than the folk who killed those precious Jewish brothers and sisters in Sydney. No more justified than these persons who were planning to place these bombs here in Los Angeles. And yet, when it comes to corporate greed, it reminds me of the United Healthcare CEO who was murdered down, gunned down, as you know, in broad daylight in Manhattan. My sense is that people, when it comes to this corporate greed, are feeling more and more hopeless, more and more helplessness, more and more hopeless and helpless, as capitalism in this country is just run amok, and people are getting crushed day in and day out. This is not the answer to the prayer. This is not the way you respond to these kinds of crises. But I sense that the hopelessness and the helplessness are becoming far more acute than perhaps we're willing to acknowledge.
Oh, I think you're right, though, brother. But I think part of the difference in our historical moment is that with the commodification of everything, everything's for sale, everybody's for sale, that there's few sources of refuge or haven of non-market spaces left. America is a country, an empire of violence. There's been assassinations, there's been food riots and all kind of class riots and race riots and so forth and so on. But we've had stronger families, we've had stronger churches and mosques and synagogues, we've had stronger civic institutions so that people could fall back. You know, the great Christopher Lash talked about the haven in a home in a greed-driven world. You see, haven in a heartless world. He would talk about. This is in the 70s. 50 years later now, even within those havens, they've been commodified. They've been hollowed out. They have been emptied out. So there's very little to fall back on other than your gun or your drugs. And, you know, at that point, you just see a kind of late modern repeat of the Roman Empire, where the only thing left seems to be just violence and hatred and counter-hatred against hatred and counter-violence against violence. Yeah. Everybody ends up toothless, eyeless, loveless. And at that point, you know, what are we talking about? You're talking about just a spiritual wasteland, man. Now, again, it's not true for everybody, but it's true for many more people than it was 50, 75 years ago.
How, in moments like these, does our faith help us to navigate that spiritual wasteland? You mentioned earlier, referenced earlier, the cross as the love interruption of its, in its own right. But how does our faith in moments like these? Because people, even persons of faith, can find themselves doubting in moments like these. But how ought our faith help us to navigate, again, this spiritual wasteland, as you put it?
But see, when Brother Luther says it's a sure enough thing, it's been tested and found true, and you and I talk about this all the time with Brother Mark and others, that we know our lives have been forms of testimony because we have been tested and we have found certain things we can fall back on, and it is true. And for us, it's Jesus. Now, you know, may not be for everybody. We just being true to ourselves. Our Jewish brothers and sisters can talk about Torah and talk about Esther, and our Muslim brothers and sisters can talk about Muhammad. And my dear sister Bell Hooks used to talk about Buddha, that meant the world to her, and I deeply loved and respected her. Secular folk can talk about, you know, Shakespeare and Voltaire and Virginia Woolf, because they still are exemplary figures, artistically speaking, and had levels of discipline that allowed them to sustain themselves, even though Virginia committed suicide. But, you know, we Christians have a lot of folk committing suicide too. But it's you fall back on what has worked for you. And so that at that point, once something is tested, then all the skepticism in the world ain't going to mean nothing. If somebody tell us we don't love our mamas, we tell you to get off the crack pipe because, you know, Joy Smiley been tested. Irene West been tested. You see what I mean? And so no kind of skepticism can shake us. Well, if you have that kind of faith, that we try to hold on to with Jesus and that blood at the cross. And I'm not talking about that Kool-Aid. I mean, part of the problem is that so many of our churches have been so commodified that rich blood has become Kool-Aid. So it's just a dip in to get a blessing that have been transformed to be a blessing. That's a whole different thing. That's part of the commodification.
Yeah.
What happens when capitalism at its worst, which is just money, transaction. What happens when that becomes normalized? In many ways, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about Brother Trump.
Yeah.
Brother Trump is the sign and the mirror of a nation and a culture where everything has been reduced to transaction, money. I want to be rich. I want to be visible. I want to be at the center of attention. And no person or empire can survive with that level of spiritual emptiness.
Glad he's here for the hour, at least the rest of it. You're listening to Cornel West on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Nugget bells, nuggets all the way.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm John.
And I'm Garrison.
And a little thing we love about the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets
is sharing them when we cut down the Christmas tree.
We will pack the car with gifts. And of course, we go and pick up our family's favorite nuggets.
Every nugget is tasty times quadrillion.
And we get all the sides.
Yeah, the ooey gooey mac and cheese is a big hit.
Share the nuggets, share the joy. Order the 30-count Chick-fil-A nuggets on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Break out the champagne. Everybody can laugh.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates our own Keith Underwood, host of the weekend entertainment show Black in the Green Room, on his recent honor at the annual National Arts and Entertainment Journalism Awards. Keith received a first place award presented by the Los Angeles Press Club for his entertainment reporting, and we couldn't be prouder. Congratulations, Keith, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Testimony without a test. Ain't no testimony without a test. Let it ride, Miles. Let it ride.
That's right. I've been blessed.
Sometimes I couldn't see my way
it, Dr. Cornel West, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley. Let it ride, Miles.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This holiday season, KBLA Talk 1580 wishes you and yours joy, peace, and prosperity. As we celebrate with family and friends, we're already looking forward to an exciting first quarter, packed with must-attend events to kick off the new year just right. In January, join us for our inaugural Brotherhood Brunch, bringing together community leaders, change makers, and everyday people for inspiration and connection. February means it's time for our signature Black History Month luncheon, a powerful celebration you won't want to miss. And in March, Women's History Month, we're once again hosting our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium and Luncheon, addressing the issues that matter most inside our community. From all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, happy holidays. Stay tuned for more details on these incredible upcoming events. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice, your community, your power.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You like that Clay Evans, Dr. West?
Oh, brother, that's Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church. That's what my dear brother Dwight McKee was also funeralized.
And Jesse Jackson's church.
Jesse Jackson's
Clay
church.
Evans
Historic
in Chicago.
Chicago, little brother.
You made that point. You know, we have testimonies because we endured the test.
Yes.
And the Reiner family is being tested right now. Think about those students who were on their way home for the holiday season. Those families are not going to welcome their babies home.
That's exactly.
And all those precious Jewish brothers and sisters in Sydney would not get a chance to live out the Hanukkah season. The Reiner family is going through it. Tracy Reiner, Rob's daughter, has now spoken to NBC News and said that she is in shock after the death of her father and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner. She said, and I quote, I came from the greatest family ever. I don't know what to say. I'm in shock. I came from the greatest family ever. She says to NBC News, I don't know what to say. I'm in shock. Her sister, Roma Reiner, says, thankful for family, health, and followers of any age who reportedly found her parents. It was Romy who found her parents yesterday in their Brentwood home after being murdered. Their brother Nick is in custody right now for those murders. I close on this note, Doc, 2 minutes to go. We think of the holiday seasons typically as joyful and bright, as the song lyric says. And yet for so many of us, and that list has grown now over the weekend, thanks to, sadly, because of all these murders, that list has grown of people who have a hard time this year and in the years to come trying to navigate their way through the holiday season.
No, that's real. I mean, wrestling with loneliness and even lovelessness is always so difficult during the holiday because you think that everybody else is having such a magnificent time and you are not. But the crucial thing is that the bottom line is that you're not alone. And therefore, you can have folk who are either praying for, we pray for the Reiner family, all of them, including Nick himself. You know that he's something deeply wrong with him. We pray for those students in Brown. We pray for the Jewish brothers and sisters who are wrestling with the murders. We pray for our Palestinian brothers and sisters wrestling with organized murder. We pray for the folk in Sudan. We pray for folk right here in Los Angeles. We should let people know that they are never abandoned, overlooked, or completely alone. There's some kind of solidaristic effort through prayer, through politics, through economics, through social life, through music. Yeah. Get on Sun Ra's Ark with the orchestra or get on the mothership and the parliament will take you there. You're never, ever alone.
I got 45 seconds. Say a quick word about the Mothership Connection, which landed 50 years ago today. We'll talk about it in our third and final hour with Todd Boyd.
50 years ago, the Mothership was the genius of George Clinton and Bootsy Collins and Brother Worrell and Gary Snyder. Nothing like it.
Todd Boyd, USC Media Studies Professor, a.k.a. the Notorious PhD, joins us in our third and final hour today to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the seminal Parliament album, Mothership Connection. We'll also ask him about his favorite hip-hop albums of the year, but we're going to celebrate Parliament and this iconic album, which dropped 50 years ago today. For now, we thank Dr. Cornel West for your brilliant insights, man. Love you, Doc.
Love you, brother.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I can tell.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The NYPD is stepping up security at Jewish houses of worship and Hanukkah celebrations around New York City following the deadly mass shooting in Australia